see it. Ooh, what is this? Interesting.
Well, hey folks, my name is Brad. If you happen to be new to my videos, I explore the mountains of Vermont, searching for treasure with my metal detector. And today I stand on the shores of this beautiful Vermont lake, standing next to an old foundation from a home that was here over 100 years ago, before this entire valley was flooded. Now, I was here just about a month ago and I found a bunch of awesome old treasures, including some old coins. And today I have dragged along my friend Chris to see if together we can find a few treasures that I may have missed. Now, if this happens to be one of the first of my videos that you've seen, I publish one of these every single Friday. So if you like what you see here today, consider hitting that subscribe button or just come on back next week. We're gonna get those metal detectors turned on and see what we can find.
Really nice, 85. This is a little coin-sized object. I'm not sure. Get a little spray here. Oh yeah, I can see it now. Yep, nice, a little Indian headset. Never read the date on it, unfortunately. Nice, that's a good find. There's old coins here. Who knows what else we could find. All right, we've got a beautiful target here. It's very loud and shallow. 96. Right there. Oh, it's Watkins Fragrant Pomade.
Well, when I first found this cap, you could very clearly read Watkins Fragrant Pomade. And the first thing that comes to my mind is, what I understand pomade to be today, which is something for styling your hair, right? It's kind of a greasy, oily product. And thinking in context from when this is more than likely from, about 100 or so years ago, the first thing that comes to my mind is, right, people probably bathing less back then. They wanted something to make their hair smell nice in between those baths. And what better than something to also use to style your hair? But in fact, as I do a little bit of research here, it seems like this wasn't for styling your hair at all. I found an image of an original bottle and it says it's for burns and dandruff and diseases of the scalp. So this was, in fact, more of a medicine for your hair. It reminds me of some bottle digging that I have done over the last few years and finding these kind of quack medicine bottles. Did it work? I don't know. I mean, maybe, but as far as I understand it, we don't call medicine for your scalp pomade anymore. So that's kind of an interesting little historic detail. Really cool find.
58, sounds real shallow. See it. That looks like a coin, nickel-sized. It's hard to tell, judging by the rim around the outside. I think that this is a V-nickel. I mean, you can't see anything on it because of the verdigris, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Nice. So far away from Chris, we're texting each other. Yeah, that's an awesome old coin. Again, I can't see anything on it, but judging by the size and the material and what I can see, I think it's a V-nickel. Awesome.
Well, Chris, I heard Chris call across the beach saying, I found a square thing. So here we are, but it's
got diamonds.
Diamonds. Well, I've said it over and over in my videos, but when metal detecting old places like this, I and people I'm with very, very rarely find jewelry. I don't know if it's just because people 100 more years ago had less jewelry, or if they cherished it more, they weren't more apt to lose it. In any case, I find very, very little of it. But Chris just found an awesome little piece. Now, truth be told, I'm not exactly sure what it is. It's square in shape. It looked like it would have, at one time, had a whole bunch of stones around the perimeter. It looks like we only have 3 left. I assume they're glass, but I suppose they could be a stone of some kind. And the real question is, what was it? You know, is it a little pendant? Was it part of a ring? Perhaps there was a larger stone in the center. Maybe even a cufflink or a button. Honestly, it could be anything. Everything that we're finding here is over 100 years old. Lots of old pottery, old coins, and an old, whatever this is, piece of jewelry. I'm thinking that it was probably a ring given its shape and given that there was likely a stone in the center, but let me know what you think. Awesome, awesome find, especially with those stones in there.
Right on the edge of one of these foundations full of beer cans, you know?
Yeah. It was right next to something garbage. I was like, oh, there's something there maybe.
That's awesome.
What are the other stuff I found?
Huh. That's like a little sash buckle. Jeez, you're finding some good stuff.
Getting there.
The last time you were with me, you found a whole bunch of great stuff.
I know.
And all the commenters said, don't bring him again. And I'm already regretting. Whoa. That's awesome. I don't know what it is, but more jewelry.
I know, right?
You're killing it with the jewelry. Very pretty. Geez, maybe I should stick behind you. Or
All the stuff I missed.
in front of you, I guess. That's cool. Don't know what it is, but it's pretty. This is just a 55, 56. This. Huh. Well, it's coin shaped, but it seems like maybe it was melted.
Well, not too long ago, Chris found something that he noted seemed like it had been melted. And in that hole itself, you could actually see a layer of black, which certainly makes it seem like this building that we've been metal detecting around, before it was covered up with the lake, likely burned down, or there was a big fire at one time. And that becomes even more apparent based on the thing that I just found, which is a buffalo nickel that also seems to be slightly melted. Now, buffalo nickels were made between 1913 and 1938, and since this place was underwater by around 1920, it makes a lot of sense why this particular design would be here and more than likely lost by the owners of the house. Now, I say lost because it seems to be melted. It was more than likely in the home when it burnt. Now, the thing that I'm wondering is, was the burning of the home in preparation because it's going to be flooded anyways, or was it an accidental thing? Either way, this coin seemingly was in the building when that happened, and we can see that fire damage on the coin itself and on several of the other things that we're finding today. Interesting coin. I love finding buffalo nickels even when they're not melted, but this one in particular tells a great story connected to this building in particular. Really cool find.
On the surface, really loud 82. Don't see it. Is it this? It is. But it can't be, because that is a nail. Oop. Haha. Ooh, nice. Indian headset. 1905. So these stretch way back to the 1860s until 1909. So this is right up before it changed to Abe Lincoln. That's a great find. For being how shallow it is, it's in pretty good shape. It's not in great shape, but it's in legible condition, which I'm happy about. There's enough nickels and pennies here. There's got to be some silver coins too. Maybe right here. Wait and see. Yeah, I don't know who was walking around out here barefoot, but it's almost November. Sounds pretty shallow, but it's a beautiful 98. That seems impossible. I'm gonna check the surface with a pinpointer. I think it's this one. Moved it. This? What is that?
Well, all day we have been finding modern coins, wheat cents, a couple Indian head cents, and we've been saying there has got to be silver here somewhere. I've of course been aiming very high and hoping to find like a Morgan dollar or or a $50 or something. But what we ended up finding here is a barber dime. Looking at the back here, we can see that it is very, very black and tarnished. We can see it says 1 dime. It does not look like there is a mint mark on this one. And as we flip it over, we can see the right facing bust of Liberty. This particular design we call a barber design or a barber dime. And down below, the date looks like 1899. Just made it back into the 1800s. A lot of the things we're finding are from the 1900s, between 1900 and 1920, so it's very nice to see something from the 1800s. I'm sure they were here at that time, but this is kind of the first real evidence of that 1800s time frame. You know, it's funny, finding coins all day, every single time as it's revealed, you're hoping it's something very old or potentially precious metal. But when it finally happens, it's a great feeling.
$85, but it's reading like a foot in the air, so. Awesome. Yeah.
Nice!
Zippo! Have a year on it? So I'm pretty confident there are ways to know how old Zippo lighter is. I mean, they obviously still make them today, but it could be from the very early 1900s as well. There she is. I can't make out quite enough text on the bottom to be able to tell for sure, and I'm fairly certain you can actually send these back in to get them repaired and fixed up for free. I don't think I'll bother doing with this one, but it's cool. Nice. Really loud. What? Chris is walking towards me.
Feels like it could be gold-plated.
Yeah, I found these before.
Little clasp thing.
Yeah, there's like a little design on this side.
Yeah.
Well, nearly every video I try to show at least one mystery find, something I cannot identify, and it seems like this week Chris found the mystery find with this tiny little clip, for lack of a better word. It seems like on the back there is some writing. Unfortunately, it seems to be deteriorated enough I cannot read it, but I'm pretty sure it says patented, so we can assume this was a patent date. And on the other side, it's very difficult to make out, but I think it resembles a heart with perhaps a crown on top. Now, if that is a heart with a crown on top of it, as far as I understand, that symbolism means friendship or love. loyalty, and maybe that'll shed some light on what exactly this little find is. Seems to me like it has to do with clothing, cuffs, or suspenders. Not quite sure. Maybe one of you out there knows for sure. Really beautiful find. Seems like it was plated at one time. Let me know what you think.
What do you get? You know what that is? Three Merry Widows. Does it have the names on it? Agnes, Becky?
Yeah.
What are the three? What's the third one? I always forget. Agnes, Becky, and who?
Mabel.
So this is a old tin, over 100 years easy, of male contraceptive. The Three Merry Widows. Agnes, Mabel, and Becky. These come in lots of different varieties, some without the names, some will have the price on there, $1 I think. That's a pretty cool find. I've only found maybe one or two. Those are cool. People look for those. This is a pretty nice target. It's 89. Oh, I see it. Ooh, what is this? Interesting.
Well, Chris and I have been complaining, for lack of a better word, all day because there are so many pull tabs. That being said, it's very hard to discriminate out aluminum on our metal detectors. We do a pretty good job with iron nails and low reading targets, but aluminum always tricks us. In this case, however, the aluminum item I found is actually a little treasure. As we take a look at it here, we can see that there are some images on this coin-sized metal. This is what we would call a religious medal, or sometimes a medallion. Looking at the imagery here, it appears to be the Sacred Heart. It seems like both sides are very, very similar, and this could have been worn on both just a necklace by itself or even added to a rosary. Now, these are relatively common finds at old places like this. I've been lucky enough to find maybe half a dozen or so, only one of them being silver. All of the rest were aluminum. Now, this one, I am guessing, based on everything else we have found here, is from the very, very early 1900s. And believe it or not, aluminum at that time was a newly mass-produced product, and it would have been somewhat of a valuable metal. So glad it was not another pull tab, and we have ourselves another piece of jewelry. It seems like that's kind of the theme of the day: old coins and old pieces of jewelry. Awesome find. All right, folks, Chris and I are calling it a day. We started out with 40-degree weather, rain, wind. Then the sun came out for a little while, but it is getting cold and windy again, so we are calling it quits for the day. We found a ton of awesome stuff, a handful of old coins, including several Indian head cents, old nickels, and a silver barber dime. I think, though, Chris is the winner for the day, finding a whole bunch of tiny little pieces of awesome jewelry. Thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you happen to enjoy it so much you'd like to see a slightly longer version with more site context, more finds, and even some outtakes for sure today. Oh, sorry, I just elbowed you. Green Mountain ASMR. Consider becoming a Green Mountain member. All of the information for that will be down below this video in the comment section. Thanks again for watching. See you next time, Chris.
See you next time.
Thanks again for watching.